Arena, also known as Steel Arena. This movie was released in 1989, although it didn't actually see an American release until 1991, and was produced by the infamous B-movie maker Charles Band. Now, the story here is very, very simple and can be best described as Star Wars meets Rocky. And what you've got is basically in the far future, the main sport is a kind of gladiatorial combat game, and there hasn't been a human challenger in a good many years. However, we have a young buck called Steve Armstrong, who is kind of eyed to be the first human challenger in a long, long time, and he's kind of trained by a group of kind of friendly aliens to kind of go up the ranks and defeat a variety of alien monstrosities to kind of fight the reigning champion called Horn, who's this kind of half cyborg sort of brute. Try to avoid the clutches of these sort of seedy alien businessmen and kind of boxing promoters and things like that. So this movie, if we have a few criticisms here before I kind of get on to what I liked about this movie. Few criticisms I would say is it's not obviously the original plot. It's a very, very simplistic plot, and it is literally kind of this guy's journey from going to point A to point B, and the actual character, the main character, Steve Armstrong, is a little bit bland. He doesn't really get a lot of characterization. He's kind of just the good guy. But this movie is so much fun. Obviously, it's a relatively low-budget movie. Charles Band, not exactly a purveyor of huge movies, but you have to say the actual effects here, for the most part, are pretty decent. And there's some really imaginative alien effects here. A lot of them are quite big and these kind of animatronics, and look very, very impressive. And does a pretty decent job. There's a good variety of different sort of types of aliens as well. Although I will say that there are a few exceptions where you have these kind of the aliens where they're just basically a guy in face paint, and I guess the kind of one of the bad guys, this kind of businessman type, is kind of like that, and he's just a guy with some face painting, which is a little bit disappointing. Also, it's kind of like one of these films that hasn't aged well in regards to sci-fi kind of gadgets and things like that. And it kind of looks a little bit like the Barbarella type of future in a lot of ways, and is a little bit sort of cheesy and fun. But obviously for the time, it was all good fun. And this movie was never meant to be anything too serious, although it was actually intended to have a theatrical release upon its its conception. Unfortunately, it went straight to video. And I have to say, this is a film that is near and dear to my heart, and I do enjoy this movie even to this day. I would go and check it out if you're a fan of these, just kind of like a bit of old school B movies and sci-fi films. This one is definitely worth a watch. It's a very simple story, like I've said. So if you're looking for anything deep, then you may want to look elsewhere. But if you just want some fun, you want to have a look at some interesting aliens. A lot of the cast here went on to do things into Star Trek, and kind of, apparently this was actually influential in some of the alien designs in Star Trek, according to the internet. So it's interesting to have a look at these kind of these sort of cheesy designs of some creatures, but for quite brilliant designs in others. I'm going to give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. I actually quite love it. It's one of my sort of favourite films when I was a young boy. Go check it out. Let me know what you think, and look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.